Hello guys, welcome back to Fat City Vinyl once again. Doug coming at you with another vinyl update where I show and talk about some new records I've picked up and been listening to recently. So I'll get right into it. Thrift finds, I have a few more to show you. First off, I have part two of my vintage reggae finds that I started last time. I will show the rest of those in just a moment. But first I'll get into thrift finds. Last time I was talking about one particular store that I go to where you can go for weeks and weeks and find absolutely nothing but the same terrible records. And then I happened in there last time and found that Emmanuel 2 soundtrack. So the week after that I popped in there again and found some more stuff. The store is like that, and when you do find something there, it's something generally pretty cool. It seems to be the way it goes. I found Haitian funk, I found some jazz there, just not like your average everyday rock stuff when you do find something. But this is one I happened on pretty quickly, and I posted this on the VC Facebook page. It got quite a big response, but there's a bit of a twist to the story. It is Johnny Cash. You can see its son there. This is the cover of his debut album from 1958. Really nice shape for the age. It is a Canadian pressing on London. Now, I'm very excited to find this. Really good shape. Just plays with a bit of crackle, but when I did play it, I realized, which I didn't realize at first, that it's actually, the LP is actually his second album in the jacket of the first. This is, the record is, sings the song that made him famous. I think it's also from 1958. And both albums include I Walk the Line, which would have caught my eye. And both the cover and the record just say simply Johnny Cash. So I didn't check too closely. So still a really good find. Plays with just a bit of crackle. Really good shape for its age. I would have bought it no matter what. This was 50 cents. I think this was a really good buy, but just a titch deflated that it isn't what I thought it was at first. So no Rock Island Line, no Cry Cry Cry, no Folsom Prison Blues, but I do get Home of the Blues. What else? Ballad of a Teenage Queen. Guess Things Happen That Way. Johnny Cash at Sun. Still a good pick. This was another one that was in the bins at the same time. This was a blind buy. It's a Canadian one. Looked sort of intriguing to me, so I grabbed it. Again, 50 cents. In a very nice shape. I can't find this on Discogs, so I'm not sure what year it is. But it is the Western Union is the name of the group. The main couple in the group is a husband and wife, Bill and Sue Ann Hillman. They're from Manitoba group, kind of a interracial, intergender group there. Kind of interesting for the times. There was a similar group in Vancouver called the Poppy Family, which was more kind of on the pop psych tip. Also a mixed race group with a female vocalist on the front, but these guys are more rooted in country, a bit of kind of bluegrass, kind of Cajun, and a bit of rock as well. So pretty nice album. A couple of disco ones from a different thrift store. Casey and the Sunshine Band, Do You Want to Go Party? Title track is a good one. Side one of this is a later one from them, from 1979. Side one is kind of so-so, kind of lukewarm, and then it kind of picks up a bit on side two. TK Records, of course. A couple of the songs on here kind of sound like they're rehashing some of their more well-known hits, but again, side two, it picks up and hits that groove and gets pretty good. Some Canadian disco, The Rays. I had a 12-inch single, or have a 12-inch single of them somewhere. Dancing Up a Storm, I think this is also from 79. They're a Canadian husband and wife duo. Might have been their only album, I think. A&M. Some pretty good disco on here. Kind of usual up-tempo and a few ballads. A couple of earworm type songs on here. A Little Lovin' is the lead-off track is a good one. I think that's the one I have on 12-inch. Manteca. This is from 1987. It is on Duke Street Records, which was a Canadian label. Generally, I pick up everything I find on that label. It's kind of an indie label, but everything on it is pretty good. Maybe one of the most well-known groups was Chalk Circle. Great 80s Canadian band that I was definitely into back in the day when I was in high school. But this is Manteca. It's a live one called Fire Me Up. They're a very large band, kind of basically jazz with kind of an Afro-Latin flavor, all instrumental. Peter Gabriel. This is his 1982 one with Shock the Monkey, which I definitely remember being on the radio. Geffen, really nice shape on that one. A couple of record store finds. This one is incredible condition. Got it for just a couple of dollars. Lakeside, Fantastic Voyage. This is funk from 1980. Of course, the title song was famously sampled by Coolio for his song of the same name in the 90s. And just a gorgeous gatefold on this. They should have made the inside gatefold the cover, I think, instead of the painting there. That looks cooler. Getting into a couple of Jamaican ones here. These were also from a local record store. Picked this one up. This was in the new arrivals bin. It is Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, Do the Ska. This is from 1964. I'm not quite sure what pressing this is. It looks old, except for a bit of creasing around the corners. It's in incredible condition. It was quite cheap too. That is on the B&M label. Now this was kind of at the high point of ska as it was attempting to cross over to an international market. I guess they'd seen the success of Harry Belafonte and the Calypso craze from a few years before, and when the ska music came in, they attempted to do the same thing. The Jamaican government selected Byron Lee and his group to go to the New York World's Fair, along with artists like Jimmy Cliff and Millie Small of My Girl Lollipop fame. And they were there to play music and promote ska and, in turn, Jamaican tourism, of course. But Byron Lee, longtime band leader, he'd started this band in the mid-50s, I believe. They were still going strong up until his death several years ago. But they even have the dancers demonstrating the so-called ska dance moves, trying to cash in as well on the dance crazes of the 60s that would go on periodically then. Ronnie Nasrallah, the male dancer there, is actually became the band's manager later on, and is credited with album design. Byron Lee, I've got one other record by him. I've seen his stuff around before. I never really got into him too much. Somebody, I posted this on Instagram, and somebody described him as the James Last of reggae, and that he's kind of a little bit cheesy. It was kind of a funny comparison, but I would go one step and further and call him the Herbie Man, in that he would surround himself with some talented people, and his records are always decent to excellent. So this one actually I was really impressed with. Very excellent ska on here. They've got a cover of Herbie Hancock's Watermelon Man, and a few vocals on here by the Blues Busters. Just excellent songs from top to bottom. Picked up one further one by him at the same time. This is also from 1964, The Many Moods of Lee. Again, really nice condition on this one. And that one is on the Kentone label. Beautiful shape, heavy pressing. And a mix of, yes, ska, a bit of calypso on here. Not quite as strong as the album I just showed, but still very excellent. Now, into the vintage reggae ones. Continuing on with the 12 inches I picked up. This has been one of my favorite tunes for a long time. I was happy to get the 12-inch single of it. Yellow Man, Mr. Chin. Bit of a writing or stamp on there. Jaw Guidance label. This is a 1982-ish, I should think. Classic dance hall song. And one of my favorite songs from one of the original Wailers. Bunny Wailer, that is called Conqueror, on his own Solomonic label. Nice Solomonic sleeve there. Beautiful 12-inch single and a great song from him. Founding member of Bob Marley and the Wailers. Before they were called Bob Marley and the Wailers. They were just the Wailers. And another nice one. White Mice. Nice dance hall tune on the Intellatech label. Mid to late 80s on that one, I think. Known that song for a long time. And what do we got here? Blacker Dread label out of England. Dancehall again. Frankie Paul, prolific dancehall singer. The beginning of the ending, along with the dub version. And on the flip side, you've got Pondigo by General Dan and Bikey Dread, which is kind of a rub-a-dub style, Michigan and Smiley type combination DJ version. Different rhythm actually on that one. Both very good songs. Blacker Dread UK label. Produced by him. Blacker Dread is a guy, and Lloyd Coxon. Both fixtures on the UK reggae and sound system scene. Blacker Dread actually incarcerated in England to the best of my knowledge right now. This was an interesting find for me. A bit of a story with this one. This is a 12-inch single again on the Tough Rock International label. Now, years ago, probably late 90s, I picked up a 12-inch single in this exact kind of sleeve, same label, and it was by Laxley Castell, who at that time was kind of a little-known kind of cult reggae artist. And I picked that one up really cheap for what it would go for online later, like maybe 10 or 12 bucks, I think, which seemed like a lot of money to me at the time. I've since seen it go for at least 50 bucks. But it actually has a, I don't know if you can see it on there. Yeah, it doesn't actually have it on there, but it does have the, on the back it says, distributed by Tough Rock International Limited, 5809 118 Avenue, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which kind of blew my mind years ago. I actually had a friend who was into reggae, who was living in Edmonton at that time, and got him to check out that address, and he drove by there, and there was some Caribbean food market had been there years before, but had been long since closed down. But the Tough Rock International label, they distributed Nijis Roots is the label, their productions out of Jamaica, and released them in Canada. So second single from that label, one province away from me, and that's only the second record I've ever seen from them. I think they only released a handful. Another 12-inch single I was very happy to get. I paid a bit for this one, but still pretty cheap compared to what it goes for online. It is one of Dennis Brown's greatest tunes, and it is called The Promised Land, featuring backing by UK band Aswad, and it is on their label called Simba. Promised Land, the instrumental track, had appeared as a song on one of their albums called Love Fire, and Dennis Brown came and voiced his lyrics on it, and they called it The Promised Land, which is what it's kind of, the rhythm track has kind of become known as ever since. Still gets redone and reversioned from time to time. Last couple of finds, a couple of LPs, Courtney Melody, I Remember Showcase on the Pickout label, kind of digital dance hall singer on here. 1988 on that one. And last up, I had showed this record in one of my if not my very first VC video. It is Africa Must Be Free by 1983 by Hugh Mundell. Absolute classic album, originally released 79, 80-ish, I think. And the last vintage find that I got recently was the dub version of this, Africa Must Be Free by 1983 dub, surprisingly enough, by Augustus Pablo with Hugh Mundell. So it's a full-length dub version of the Hugh Mundell album. That is, every track corresponds to each other, so you get all the instrumental remixed versions with echo and reverb and just the Augustus Pablo touch on all tracks. So very, very stoked to be able to match those up. So that's what I've got for you today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I will have some more for you very shortly, I'm sure. So take care. Hope everyone's having a great summer. And peace, guys.